Hello, fellow horn players. Today's video is all about mouthpiece pressure, how much you need, more importantly, how much you don't need, and one trick that I developed to permanently fix this problem in your own playing and that of your students. So first of all, where does excess mouthpiece pressure come from? Well, I have a theory that in the United States, at least, when students are learning, they're often playing on a much higher set of notes than they need to when learning the horn, and they're not doing enough slurs, and they're developing an association with pressure and effort in order to play into the upper register. So I can demonstrate on just a very short harmonic series what that looks like without changing anything else. I'm just going to change the pressure I apply to my mouthpiece on my lips. Now, I was using quite a bit of what we call, the left-hand valve or pressure this way with my lead pipe and my mouthpiece into my embouchure to get those upper partials. And so developing that habit or that association of effort and pressure to play high is again something that develops often early on. And there is a better way. And the reason that pressure is often a problem mostly has to do with pressure on the upper lip especially. So if we want to free the upper lip and not associate playing throughout the range with pressure, I developed something that I call a half buzz. Now, I had a student that was using way too much pressure on the upper lip, and I couldn't figure out a way to kind of flag this and have the student have a direct experience of what that meant. So I developed this method that I call the half buzz. It's a little trick that I use not only on my students, but on myself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mouthpiece in position, play a G in a way that, say, I might have 10 years ago or my students might do today, where I'm unconsciously applying way too much pressure to my upper lip. And it's going to look something like this. Now, in order for me to get an experience of a very different type of G, with much less pressure on that upper lip, I'm going to do something that, again, I call this half buzz, where I'm going to gradually pull the mouthpiece, angling it down off of only the upper lip, very slowly, and I'm going to stop as soon as the sound stops traveling through my instrument. And then I'm going to slowly return it, but I'm going to stop as soon as the G sounds. Now I'm going to pay attention to where I begin and where I end, and especially the angle of that lead pipe and mouthpiece on my upper lip. So you can see it's a profoundly different placement of the mouthpiece on that upper lip. The lower lip is like in a set of chopsticks, our stable base, and the upper lip, like a chopstick, is the one that moves. So they both don't move in the same way. The upper lip has to be free in order to have that flexibility to move. So I might introduce this in a harmonic series set or a half scale, and I might start it on an F or an E and go up to about a third space C. Doing this half buzz from C to F and above F is a little bit more challenging, but this will give me a really good idea of how much pressure I need or don't need. So for example, I might have a student play a half scale starting on an A. So their default method might be something like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them stop on the E, the top note where I landed in that little half scale, and perform this half buzz without stopping playing. And this starts to get us used to the idea of playing music, getting around the horn very gradually with this new setting. So that is a trick, again, that I call the half buzz. I'd never had it used in my own learning. I wish I did. I think it would have taken decades off of my own progress in terms of escalating it. And I use it quite frequently, especially when I notice a almost head-on setting of the mouthpiece onto the lips, something like this. That's an indication to me that too much pressure is being used. And so again, the difference is using pressure to get into those upper notes like this. Which is how many of us maybe still play or did play, at least I know, for many years, or something that looks and sounds more like this. And you can see another benefit of this exercise is that it allows us to be fairly quiet in the face. There's not a lot of contortion or straining happening, and the mouthpiece is fairly stable. There's not a lot of change of this angle between registers, even when I play high and then very low. There's a slight dropping of the jaw for those very, very low notes, but absolutely nothing else is changing. I'm not having to pivot. I'm not having to make weird shifts. And I believe that this is all due to the fact that I have learned to let the lips respond to the air instead of using pressure or changing my angle to play high. If you found this video helpful, please join my free Facebook group called Horn Players United. There's always a link in these posts and in my link tree on my profile to join that group. I share a lot of exclusive content there that I don't share anywhere else to my Facebook members. So like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.